everyone, I'm Via and this is the second video in my Star Wars bullet journal series. This month I am doing the Women in Star Wars theme, and so I have chosen 4 women who I think are really interesting characters from the Star Wars universe. Though it was hard to pick just 4, and in this book, Women of the Galaxy, there is so many more, so if you're really interested, I would suggest checking it out. It was a really good book to read, and the artwork was really beautiful. As with most of my bullet journal spreads, I am going to cover half of my page with a different color of paper. In this case, I'm using black because it just really fits the Star Wars theme. So I'm just going to cut out paper to fit the page, and since I used the other half of this paper for another spread, it's already torn at the edges, so it'll be really easy to just glue in and I can quickly get started with the spread. The first part is to sketch out where I want all the elements of my spread to be in. I decided I wanted to do kind of like this ring or halo around the spread that I was going to fill in with watercolor, so I did my best to freehand draw a circle since I didn't have any template I could work with. Honestly, it wasn't the best circle, but I think kind of with the overall effect of the spread, it looks okay at the end. Off the camera, I sketched out the women that I'm including in this spread using just reference photos from Pinterest or just trying to draw it out on my own. The idea that I had for this spread was to do all of the white parts in more detail and color, and then as all of the drawings went down into the black paper, I wanted it to look more rough and sketchy because that tends to be kind of my style. So as you'll be able to tell, as I'm filling out these sketches with black pen for the white paper and then white pen for the black paper, I'm really focusing especially on the faces and the shoulders that are above the black paper. The women that I decided to include in this spread are some of my favorite characters, and also one character who I just have always thought was really interesting and really serves a lot to develop another one of my favorite characters, so that's why I decided to include her. So the first woman in here is Ashoka Tano from the Clone Wars series and also from the Mandalorian TV series. Then I had Rey Skywalker, then Leia Organa, and lastly Barriss Offee, who is the character who I think is probably like one of the most interesting, even though she ends up being kind of a bad person in the end. She really serves to develop Ahsoka's character if you see in the TV show. I also really love Rey and Leia because growing up they both were really influential within my childhood as well as my high school years when their movies came out and when I watched the older movies as a kid. So I of course had to include them, and I also just grew up with the character of Ahsoka, and she's always been one of my favorite characters, so that is why I chose them. But there are so many more women in Star Wars that I wanted to include, so I might end up making another spread later to include those. We'll see. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to use watercolor to round out the spread. And so I tend to, when I do watercolor, go from lighter colors to darker colors. That's just the way I do it. I'm not sure if that's the most correct way, but this helps me to keep from mudding up my colors too much. And I know right now it doesn't look like I'm doing a whole ton, but I actually mixed a slightly different color of white to use for any elements within the spread that would be white, just to differentiate it a little bit from the paper and to make sure it doesn't look like I'm leaving it blank. I did then actually go on to the shadows of the faces of Rey and Leia before I did the overall skin tone, and that was just to help me blend it out a little bit more. One of the things that has always drawn me to Ahsoka, aside from her just being really awesome, is her character design is just so cool. I think that she was definitely my favorite one to paint in this whole spread. I'm still not sure what to call the circle thingy that I drew around the spread, but I decided to color that in a mix of pink and blue because I just think that those are pretty colors. After I finished the watercolor portion, I used my white gel pen once more to use a simple cursive and write the names of each character beneath them. I kept the title of the month super simple by using a gold paint pen to write June in a Star Wars font. Finally, it's time for some simple touch-ups and decorating the whole entire page with stars because, of course, it is Star Wars. Okay, so here is a close-up of the final product. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful and fun. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you!